the Stranger Than Fiction podcast. I'm Chase.
And I'm Adam. On this one, we are taking another look at a popular topic from Season 1, not fake news. Not only did we enjoy making this episode in the first season, but it's still a very relevant subject today. But before we get to our first headline, our cause of the week this week is the World Literacy Foundation. They are a global nonprofit that works to lift youth out of poverty through the power of literacy. According to their data, 1 in 5 people in the world cannot read or write, and 85% of all teenagers who are involved in criminal activity are functionally illiterate. Did you know that?
No, that's a bummer.
Are you able to read?
Am I functionally illiterate? Some would argue, I think, what my status of literacy is, but I can read and write for the most part. There are some words that I think I know what they mean and I use, and then come to find out I get some funny looks and I don't actually know what they mean. But I think I'm good. I think I'm okay.
Okay, well that's good. So you're at least above like a high school level.
I think.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
That's good. As a reminder, joining us on Patreon helps us support our causes of the week. You can learn more about our Patreon program at patreon.com/STFtalk. And you can also donate directly to the World Literacy Foundation if you want to at worldliteracyfoundation.org.
Yeah, the Patreon base is growing too, which is awesome. I'm really glad that it wasn't just 1 or 2 people. It's starting to get out to the masses.
Yeah, and joining us with us actually right now is one of our Patreon members. Appreciate that. If you join at a certain level, you get to join us for recording. So really appreciate the support. Are you ready for the first headline, Chase?
Yeah, let's do it. These are fun.
This one comes from theguardian.com. Headline is, police rush in after man heard screaming, "I'm going to kill you." Discover noise caused by him attacking spider.
That's me. Is that from Warrenton, Virginia?
I picked this one just for you, actually.
I think that's me. I've gotten more scared since I've lived out in the country. I've gotten more scared of spiders. I used to be only afraid of snakes.
Yeah, exactly. I had snakes in mind relative to this story for you, but when I saw this article, it was like, oh, this is Chase. I gotta. So let me tell you a little bit about the story as well here. So around 2 a.m. on a Sunday, several police cars rushed to an apartment in the northern suburb of Wollstonecraft. This was in Australia, responding to reports of a woman screaming hysterically, a man yelling, "I'm going to kill you, you're dead," and furniture being thrown. A man that police described as out of breath and rather flushed.
Yeah, that's me.
Answered the door, and the local area command's Facebook page documented this exchange. "Where's your wife?" an officer asked. "I don't have one," the man replied. "Where's your girlfriend?" he pressed. "I don't have one," he said. Police,
Oh, poor guy.
Police told the man neighbors had heard the screams, threats to kill, and dull thud of flinging furniture. "Come on, mate." I can't. I don't have an Australian accent. Sorry.
Try it. Go ahead. Go for it again.
"Come on, mate. What have you done to her?" The police asked. "It was a spider," the man replied sheepishly. "A really big one." "What about the woman screaming?" "Yeah, sorry. That was me," he said. "I really, really hate spiders."
Yeah, and to this guy's defense, like, this is Australia, where I've seen some videos of spiders in Australia, and they got like camel spiders down there that literally look like camels, that are the size of camels. So like, we're not talking about like some like guy in Virginia, me, out of breath, all flushed. We're not talking about like this little spider that is crawling on the ceiling and I'm trying to kill it, which is the same exact scenario that would happen in this story. But this guy's in Australia, where literally everything can kill you and everything is just magnified to the extreme. So I don't blame this guy. Sorry this guy doesn't have a wife or a girlfriend or anybody to spend his time with. Sounds like a pretty lousy existence, but more power to this guy for yelling at the spider, trying to get him away, and throwing his furniture around.
If there was like a snake in your house, how loud would you scream?
So there would probably be an initial holy fuck, like window breaking scream. And then it would completely be like, Aaron, take care of this. I'm going for coffee or something. Like I wouldn't stay in I would probably sell the house, to be honest. But yeah, if there was a snake in the house, I feel like that's a way different situation too. Why the fuck is there a snake in your house?
So do you, based on that little story that you just told there,
Yeah.
Do you have to kill the insects, or does Aaron kill the insects for you?
No, I still man up. There's very little about me that is purebred man. I I am not a testosterone filled man by any stretch of the
I
imagination.
mean, your beard says otherwise.
My beard is coverage for my lack of masculinity. But I do try to step up and kill animals, especially with Ellie. I want her to think that I am.
Hold up. You kill animals?
I kill if animals if they break the boundaries of this house, I will kill them. So far, it's only been spiders though, and ladybugs, a shitload of ladybugs. But yeah, I haven't had to kill anything of like a skunk or a raccoon or something, thankfully. But only small creatures, insects, have been killed in this house.
I have to kill a lot of centipedes. Allison,
Ooh, yeah.
Allison hates the centipedes.
Well, and you guys are really getting down into like Black Widow country down there too. So those get way scary. I found one down here one time in our old house that was crawling on the wall. I haven't seen a Black Widow since. Oh, I did actually. I saw one outside on a pallet of wood. But other than that, I would be terrified of those even more.
Yeah, definitely. They could fuck you up pretty good.
Yeah, but more power to that guy. I would feel for him if he's down in Australia trying to kill spiders all by himself. He deserves to yell. Those cops, I think, need more to do, too.
Yeah, exactly. I've had the police called on me for really stupid shit. I mean, that would be pretty embarrassing to have them called on you for, thinking that you're like killing your significant other and you're just really trying to go at it with the spider.
Yeah, especially since he's out of breath and flushed. Like, what is this spider doing that he has to like juke it and like run throughout the house? Like, why are you out of breath?
Maybe it's like one of those jumping spiders or something.
Yeah, maybe. Huh.
The next kind of two stories kind of go together somewhat, and they have a kind of a theme. So, do you like fast food?
What does this body tell you?
What is your favorite fast food restaurant?
I mean, it's definitely Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
But that is like, I mean, that there's guilty pleasure fast food, which I don't feel like is fast, or which is Chick-fil-A, because that's like fancy fast food. I could eat probably, and this is no joke, probably 7 McDonald's cheeseburgers, not like quarter pounders, but like just normal cheeseburgers. I don't know what it is about those, but they just
the new ones with the fresh beef. That's pretty good.
Oh, I haven't had those. I like the old shitty ones that have like the yeah, I like those ones, but I could eat 7 of those. But I'm not a huge. I like Taco Bell. Taco Bell's right up there. Arby's is up there.
This first one is about Burger King.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
It's okay. They've got some unique items, I guess. So this article is from CBS News. Burger King accused of reneging on lifetime meals to man stuck in bathroom. So
go on.
This guy sued Burger King because he feels like he got reneged on a deal that his local Burger King made him to give him free meals to compensate for having to endure more than an hour in a locked bathroom.
Ugh, at a Burger King?
Yeah.
That's a lifetime. That is a life. Oh my God.
This is in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
The guy got locked in the bathroom. He had to use his cell phone to call workers, and he said that he could hear the workers laughing outside the door at him for being stuck in there. And he was stuck for an hour. They eventually pushed a fly swatter under the door, and he was able to use it to unlock the door. The guy that was stuck in there, he said, I quote, "It's the kind of place where you hold your breath. Go in and get out of there as fast as you can. That wasn't an option for me."
All of these stories are very reminiscent of my life. Like these are all stories that I could be like. Chase Ferris of Warrenton, Virginia, said, "This is the worst moment of my life."
He went on to describe to police that he was too shaken to immediately leave the restaurant, and that the employees did give him a Band-Aid some ointment for a cut that he sustained during the traumatic incident.
Oh my God!
And as a result, the manager of the Burger King apologized and told him that he'd have free meals. So they made this verbal agreement. He was able to get paid off on the deal for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden the manager told him that the meals were over. And so he sued.
What did he get?
At the time of the story, it was still in process, but he was seeking damages. You know how much he was seeking?
I mean,
How much is no cost Burger King worth to you?
Well, it depends because did his finger like turn gangrenous from cutting it in there and like all the bacteria and everything, and
No.
he'd lose his hand? And
No.
yeah, then he probably should have sued for like $14.72.
He was seeking $9,026.
Yeah, see, that's a random number. What is there a reason for that number?
That is the estimated cost of eating one $7.89 Whopper meal a week for the next 22 years.
Jesus. Why would you even do that? Like, why wouldn't you just ask? Why wouldn't you just ask for that money up front? Like, hey, bro, yeah, this sounded like a sweet idea. But I'm gonna do you one better and just give me $9,000 because I did the math really quick, and that's what a Whopper every day costs.
Well,
so
no, I mean, if the guy told you that he didn't have to pay for his meals, wouldn't you be going there more than once a week?
yeah, but I reject that premise first of all
Why?
because never go into a verbal agreement with a manager from a Burger King.
Well, sure, sure.
I mean that shouldn't hold up in court. First of all, I don't want like like Judge Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court is now like this is going to be his first case of like fuck this is what I went through all this nonsense for. This guy's going for $9,000. He cut his fucking toe or finger on a Burger King bathroom and made this deal.
No, this
with
guy's
the Burger King manager.
He's shooting himself in the foot here, going too low. If I was this lawyer, I would have said, okay, we're going to eat there once a day at least, and you do that math, and then maybe you can settle on $9,000. You know.
I like how you included yourself as the lawyer. You said, "Hey, bro, can I get in on this deal? Like, we're gonna eat there more than once a day. So, can we? Can you include
split
me?
that
Like,
Whopper
yeah.
meal? Let's do it.
Cut it in half. Yeah, that. I mean, as traumatic as I think that would be to be stuck in any fast food bathroom for more than the time that it takes to take a giant piss, I would suffer tremendous for an hour.
Yeah.
I would look back at my life and wonder how I got here. I would have a tremendous amount of angst when I got out, probably psychological issues. I mean, $9,000 isn't going to do it justice. I'm gonna have to go to the hospital to get all of my cuts and bruises from trying to get out. Like I'm crawling. Like when you try to get out of if you get buried alive, right, and you like try to get out of your coffin and you're like clawing, and you see that would be me, like just clawing at the door, fingernails are ripped off. It would be the worst experience of my life, but it is worth $0 once I get out.
What's a worse place to take a shit? A Burger King bathroom or the mall bathroom?
I would say the mall is worse.
Exactly.
For sure.
I 100% agree with you. Everything is always wet at the mall.
Well, and
there's always like just like piles of shit in each toilet.
Yeah,
Piss all
strength
over
in
each
numbers
seat.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's one custodian for the entire mall, or one janitor. So he cleans the toilets like once every 2 weeks, and he just wanders around in the arcade for the rest of the time using his quarters. Yeah, malls are definitely the worst. But again, you're not going to sue if you get. That's a silly lawsuit. We have a very tort-ridden society where you can sue for anything, even at $9,000. A handshake deal with a Burger King manager should not be held to a legal standard, in my mind.
Yeah,
so
but
hopefully, I would like to follow up on this case.
I don't know. I think he actually would have a case because they held up the deal for 13 days. But I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but.
See, it seems silly.
My next story is, again, fast food related. You said you like Chick-fil-A. I like Chick-fil-A. This one has to do with chicken.
Okay.
All right, so
don't ruin chicken.
No,
then.
I don't think I will.
Okay. All right.
This one comes from Alabama. Alabama news station WTVY.com.
Okay.
Article reads, Alabama authorities don't eat chicken fingers spilled on the road.
I feel like that's a viable warning, I suppose.
I feel like it should be kind of go unsaid, but
it should.
Like apparently the Alabama Sheriff's Office was warning people against eating chicken fingers that had fell out of a truck that wrecked on a rural highway. So this 18-wheeler crashed, spilled boxes of chicken tenders, and all kinds of cars stopped to pick up the chicken fingers, caused a lot of traffic issues. And all the police and emergency people were posting on Facebook and doing all this stuff, telling people to quit picking up the chicken. They even had to put out a notice saying that the food isn't safe to eat after hours on the ground.
I'm confused, though. Are these cooked chicken fingers?
Well, I mean, sitting out in the Alabama sun for a couple hours, they're probably partially cooked.
I'm gonna puke. And I know for a fact, like, my senior year of high school, or our senior year of high school, I guess, I hit a deer. Do you remember that?
Yeah, actually, I do.
I hit a deer, and this motherfucker it was a big 8-point buck, and it came right through the windshield. Miles was in the car. My brother was in the car with me, and the antlers, like, came right through the windshield and, like, almost hit me in the face.
I remember that, yeah.
And then, like, I did that, like, I don't know how traumatic your life has been, but have you ever done, like, one of those, like airless, noiseless screams where you're just like you just make the face and you're trying to scream, but you can't because the wind has already been taken out of you?
No.
So I did that. And there is a point to the story sort of leading back to that. But so we wait for the sheriff to come because the deer isn't quite dead yet. And I don't know what to fucking do. I'm a senior in high school. It's barely dawn, like the sun's coming up and everything. And then the sheriff comes and he's like, hey, what do you want to do with it? And we're like, oh, nothing. But in that time period where I hit the deer, my car wouldn't run. Me and my brother are standing on the side of the road. We can't do anything. Like, we're just standing there like, what the fuck do we do? That's a giant deer in the middle of the road. We're seeing people like ramp the deer because it's sort of like at the peak of a hill where you wouldn't be able to see it. So like people are like ramping it like it's BMX bikes. You could see people like jumping up in their cars when they their heads are hitting the ceiling. They're probably like, what the fuck just happened? But during the period where we hit it to when the sheriff came, we probably had 3 people pull over and they're like, hey, can we have that deer? Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, guys, like, first of all, there's a chance that I'm injured. Thanks. Like, I'm fine. But people aren't afraid to just, like, take shit off of the road. Even if it's been hit and destroyed, people will still take that back and, like, get the little bit of meat that they can salvage off of that. So I'm not surprised that people stopped for such a delicious treat as chicken fingers. That was a long story to get to that.
It was a long story, but
I feel like the buildup was worth it.
How much money would it take for you to eat a chicken finger off the road, side of the road?
There's no amount of money. So, but that's my question. Like, so I think if I'm the car behind it and I see it happen, then the first thing that I do is go and see if everybody's okay. The second thing that I do is like go back to the truck and like see what the status of the chicken fingers are. Because there might be one that's like teetering on the door or like the back that like barely touched the ground.
You are contributing to the problem.
But then you realize very quickly that they're probably frozen, right? They have to be frozen chicken fingers. So what am I just going to shove 2 in my pocket and walk away and like, oh, Aaron, you'll never believe what I found today. I was driving to work. Check out my pockets right now. Like they're just filled with like thawing chicken fingers. That sounds like a story from Alabama, though. No offense to Alabama, but that sounds like a story. They were ate for a week based off of the chicken fingers we found on that crash truck.
I mean, I think Alabama makes sense, or you could have guessed that it was Florida because all kinds of weird shit happens in Florida.
Yeah, anywhere down like anywhere down that southern belt there. Do you want to hear one that I have?
Yeah, sure.
Man claiming to have the world's largest penis exposed as average. You've had that problem before, right?
I can't say that I've had my penis exposed like this, no.
You've had your penis exposed as just average, though. I mean, I will expose it right now. Just average. Are you gonna edit it? Are you gonna edit that out?
I don't think you actually have information here on this subject.
Maybe. That's true. So I'm just assuming. But this guy, and I'll go into detail.
You know what assuming does, right?
Yeah, that makes an ass out of you and me. And before, I feel like I need to. What would you guess, fake or not? What would you believe that somebody would tell somebody that is the world's largest penis? Like how many in inches?
If I was going to tell someone that I had the world's largest penis, I would tell them that I had at least a 12.5-inch penis.
You would not even probably be top 10 according to this guy. This guy had claimed that he had an 18.9-inch penis. Roberto Esquivel Cabrera of Saltillo, Mexico.
Of course he's
viral.
Hispanic, right?
Why? Why is that, Adam? Continue on with that thought.
Hispanic guys are typically well hung.
Lie about their dick size?
Well hung. 18.5 inches.
That's not a thing. Is that actually?
Yeah.
Latin guys,
Latin
or
lovers.
Hispanics are well hung. I've
Latin
never
lovers.
heard that before.
Latin lovers.
Yeah, I don't think that goes back to having a huge pecker, but
It's
whatever.
not the size that counts, Chase. I know. You
I
hear
guess.
that all the time. I know.
So in 2015, this is an older story, but it came out in 2018, so pretty recently. But this guy went viral after he posted a video of himself measuring his penis, again, which he claims was the world's largest penis at 18.9 inches.
How big was it really?
Which is, hold on, I'm building up. I like to build on these stories, Adam. In case you didn't know, I like to build up. So he goes to this doctor, and he was trying to get recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records. And you have to see this guy's photo because hold on, let me see if I can.
He looks like your stereotypical like mariachi band guy.
Yeah, only he plays his penis as the instrument. Yeah, but so this guy obviously shows his penis on. It's all blurred out, but he's holding it like you would hold like a fucking baseball bat. So he tries to get recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records, and in order to do that, he has to obviously show his penis to a doctor. So they settle on a radiologist. They're going to take an X-ray of it. They're going to show this man's girth on an X-ray to prove that it actually is 18.9 inches. He'll get in the Guinness Book of World Records. Nobody will ever beat that motherfucker. So they go to a radiologist in Mexico, and it's all wrapped up. This guy keeps his penis wrapped up all the time, of course, because you want to protect it first of all. But I don't know if there's like a humidity issue that you need it to be.
What do you mean? Protect it from hitting your knee?
Protect it from just the world, I think. Like you don't want it scratched. You don't. I mean, it's at 18.9 inches. A lot can happen to that, man.
It's in your pants, though.
Sometimes. What about it when it's not? But if you had actually a small penis that was wrapped up as to look like an 18.9 inch penis, then you would be probably more prone to wrap it up. And that is what happened to this fella, is that they go in and he refuses to take the wrapping off of his penis.
Just measure it with the wrapping.
Dude, I just, this is how it looks. Just measure it. I'm not taking this off. This is not up for discussion. This is what it looks like.
I'm really sensitive.
So the radiologist is like, okay, and they take a picture of it, and surprise, surprise, the radiologist shows that the radiologist sees that it's basically an average length.
Micro penis.
He said, my first impression was that it was a unique and unusual case. I had never seen a patient like Roberto. However, when Roberto Cabrera refused to take the bandages off of his penis so Murrow could perform an examination, Murrow began questioning him. Of course. So, again, they do the CT scan, and what happens was that he has a very large foreskin. So his foreskin is like, and I don't know how this...
his foreskin is 18 inches long?
I don't know. Well, hold on. I don't know how this translates because I'm a big dummy, but... So the actual penis itself, from pubis, which I guess is the pubic bone, to the actual tip of the wee-wee, is 16 to 18 centimeters. So I don't know what that translates. Is that how many inches or how many centimeters are an inch?
1 inch is 2.5 centimeters. How many centimeters was it?
16 to 18 centimeters. So he's got what, like 7 to 8 inches?
Yeah, that's
so
average.
He's still, maybe that's average. My dick, like that's not. It's not
what
average.
were you expecting?
Jesus Christ,
3 inches?
I guess you Latinos and Hispanics that what you were talking about at the beginning is correct, because the doctor says, yeah, it's just about average.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's 7 to 8 inches long, flaccid, and the foreskin is 11 inches long.
Jesus. So 16 centimeters would be 6.5 inches. 18 centimeters is 7 inches.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess maybe that's average, but that's still. So he has an 11 to 12 inch foreskin.
That's insane.
Which is amazing to me. I don't even know how you find the penis at that point. Like how do you have? You got to like rip it back and like put like a hair tie on it or something to actually find the tip of the the wee wee.
To take a piss, you gotta like
yeah
unwrap that thing and like, phew, man, That's why you get circumcised right there.
Yeah, so there was this big argument between this guy Cabrera that supposedly had the 18.9-inch hog and Jonah Falcon. Do you know who Jonah Falcon is?
Nope.
So Jonah Falcon is for sure the Guinness World Record holder for largest penis, and his is 13.5 inches flaccid. So Jonah Falcon has been this whole time, like this build up to 2018.
He's been following
the
story closely.
Yeah. Well, he's been going on a press tour and like, no, there's no way this guy's 18.9 inches. Like I'm 13 and a half. I have the biggest. There's no doubt about that. Like it's like a hype man. Like he's hyping up this fight and then come to find out there's just an 11-inch foreskin sitting down in there. No wonder he has it wrapped up all the time.
So this world record holder is a shower? Not a grower?
I mean, Jonah Falcon is pretty famous. Like I think he's done porn in the past, but like he's sort of a big deal. Like he's sort of like a cult. I don't want to say hero because he just has a large hog.
I'm fairly proud that I don't know this guy, and I'm a little weirded out that you know this guy so well.
No, I'm a big fan of Howard Stern, and he's been on Howard Stern a couple times. So that's the only reason I know about him. I thought claiming that you have an 18.9-inch penis is only going to bring you sorrow when something happens where you have to prove yourself. And if you do have an 18 and a half, or if you have an 18-inch wiener, more power to you. But I guarantee you're just slobbering all the time because the blood that it probably takes to make that thing work.
All right. Well, do you remember the episode we did last season about mummies?
Yes.
I've got a related story.
Oh, okay.
From Ripley's.com.
Ooh.
The headline is, "Thousands want to drink the mummy juice from an ancient sarcophagus."
Yum.
Have you heard anything about this story?
No, sounds pretty gross.
It's pretty recent, middle of last year. Basically, they unearthed this new tomb in Alexandria, 2,000-year-old unmarked tomb. It was pretty interesting because it's made of all stone. But basically, when they opened it up...
Is that the black one? Is that the one that, like... Okay, yeah, I did read about this then. Yeah.
So they opened it up, and it was basically filled with this red liquid.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of people that think that it's going to give them mystical powers.
Ugh.
There's a change.org petition that has 35,000 signatures on it of people that want to be able to get their hands on this mummy juice and drink it for the mystical powers. This one guy who is a video game producer from England was particularly excited about the prospect of drinking some mummy juice, and he had a pretty interesting couple lines here that I wanted to share with you.
Okay.
He said, "Many felt let down when the dark and extremely cursed sarcophagus was pried open to reveal only skeletons drenched in raw sewage, which is weird because skeletons are inherently pretty awesome. However, I stand true to the hope we were promised and deeply believe that by consuming the skeleton juice in the form of a carbonated high-caffeine energy drink, that we can still have the opportunity to enter an era of unending darkness and despair. I'm so glad to see others backing the petition and sharing in my mission to rapidly bring about the end of all things."
Yeah, I think we should probably let those 35,000 people drink that shit.
There was another person on the change.org that wrote, "Yum yum, mystical mummy powers in my tum-tum."
Yeah, maybe not that person. That person's clever, but the rest of them can drink it and see what happens. But that one, and from what I remember reading, like they were nervous to open that up because like it was so unmarked and like it was black and like so irregular from what they're normally used to finding, and they didn't know what they were gonna find in it. And then there was speculation that it could be like, I don't know, whoever was supposed to be buried that they haven't found yet. And
I think there was
all that juicy
three bodies inside. A lot of the researchers have done some work on this red liquid, and they all pretty much agree that it is contaminated sewage water, which is so potent that it rotted the wrappings encasing the three skeletons. And so basically it's pretty safe to say that no one would want to drink this, let alone touch it. So these people are insane.
Yeah, I don't really understand. Like, why would you even do that? Why, like, people need to realize that this is life, and you're expected to be a responsible person in life, and you're not, like, you're not going to get mythical powers from drinking poo-poo juice, 2,000-year-old poo-poo juice. You know, like people, how do you?
Yeah, but it's got
How do you go?
soaked in mummies. You know, they believed
I
mummies
don't
have
give a fuck if
mystical
it's
powers.
soaked in gold. Like people are just stupid, and we should let them drink it and see what the fuck happens because they're gonna shit their brains out. Probably gonna seize up. They're gonna die. There's gonna be some weird bacteria eating their brain, and quite frankly, I think they deserve it at that point because you shouldn't drink shit that's 2,000 years literal shit that's 2,000 years old, or even if it's 50 years old or 5 years old or 5 minutes old, you shouldn't drink shit. Let's get that. And if it sits with 3 bodies for however long it's sat
No,
with,
thank you.
and they decayed in it, yeah, get the fuck out of
Can
here.
you imagine how bad that shit smells?
Adam, this is 2019. This is the greatest time in the entire history of humanity to be alive. And these people are fucking thinking about, I mean, think about Capri Suns, right? We got Capri Suns. We got fucking Sunny D. We got all these delicious drinks, food. We got all, those are the top of my list. Capri Suns. I'm a 10-year-old kid, but like, just think about all the stuff that you can eat, drink, that you can do, all the cool stuff that's happening. And these people want to go drink this juice that comes from, like, it's just stupid. I fucking hate people.
Do you remember the little Huggies?
Oh yeah, the
Or
ones that you poke your
Hugs
finger
or
through.
whatever? Yeah, the shape.
Yeah, those are the
shaped
ones
like little barrels or whatever.
Yeah, and you had to poke your finger through, and then your finger was all wet, and then you had to lick your finger off, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah, we have those, and people still want to drink that juice.
Speaking
strange.
of licking,
Oh, Ooh.
the
Good
next
segue.
story comes from digitaltrends.com. You may have seen this one. It's very recent. I saw it on Facebook.
Okay.
Do you have one of those security cameras? You do. You
Yes,
do, right?
I have a Nest security camera.
You don't have one of the
and
Ring,
an alarm system.
one of the Ring doorbell ones, right?
We sort of did a bake off between those.
Okay.
And Nest came out ahead.
I too have a Nest.
But,
I have a Nest
yeah.
one, but this one. So this story involves licking and one of the security cameras.
Oh no! I fucking saw this guy. I didn't read the article. I saw the fucking video, and I was like, I like got hypnotized by it. I watched it for like a half hour. But go on, because this is a weird one.
The headline is Ring security camera catches man licking the doorbell for hours.
Yeah, it's the grossest thing that I've ever seen.
Yeah, the video, and yeah, so there's obviously a video of this, right? Because it's a security camera. It was recorded, this whole thing. And so basically this guy went to a house at 5 a.m. and he just walks up to the doorbell and he just starts going to town. Like it is, his favorite treat.
Yeah. Oh god.
Whatever you want to say.
We should link to the video on the website because it literally is like, it's one of those things that you laugh at because you don't know what emotion fits that. Like you're like, this is disgusting. It's demoralizing. It is sad, but it's also freaking hysterical. It's scary.
Some of the faces
Yeah.
that he makes, like looking
That's
at the
what I was
camera,
gonna say. Yeah.
it's like,
He looks right into it like, hey, bro, I'm going to lick your doorbell right now. And then he just goes to fucking town like it's his prom night on the doorbell. It is the strangest thing. And it's not just like, it's not like you're licking a popsicle. Like he does the popsicle motions. He does like the circle motions.
I mean, he starts getting his head into it like,
yeah, I mean, it's literally like he's just going to town on somebody. It is so strange.
The homeowners were not home at the time, but they
Thank God.
received a notification, obviously on their phone, and kind of watched what was happening. Obviously, the notification was triggered repeatedly by the guy. However, the guy that ended up being identified later as 33-year-old Roberto Daniel Arroyo continued licking the doorbell for more than 3 hours. Like that's a lot of stamina. I mean,
Did we see him like drinking any water in between to like wet his tongue down?
that's
or?
unclear. I didn't watch the full 3-hour
Yeah.
video, but
I'm going to research.
the children, the homeowners weren't there, but the children were there. They didn't have any interaction with the guy, but they were in the house while he was doing this. After he licked the doorbell, he, I guess, somehow had enough liquid in his body still to pee to pee in the front yard.
Oh, I didn't read that part.
As if he hadn't already violated the property enough. Yeah, and then one of the homeowners was interviewed later, and he said, "You kind of laugh about it afterwards because technically he didn't do anything," which he was arrested for like trespassing and
Yeah, it's funny from a distance, but just imagine that you're home. And like when I'm home and like sometimes we're in the basement and like somebody like the FedEx will drop off a package and I'll get an alert on the camera and it'll come and we'll look and say, oh, there's a package. But just imagine like if it comes on and you're like, oh, there's an alert, there must be a package, and you see this guy just going to fucking town on your door handle or your doorbell or something, and like that would be actually terrifying to me in real time. Like, but going back and looking at it after the fact when you're not home, and especially like if your kid's home alone and there's just some fucking like guy just going at like licking your house regardless of where it's at, like if anybody's like standing at your house for 3 hours, that has to be perturbing to you. But yeah, the face that guy made, like,
he looks like a serial killer or something, for real.
I would love to get in the mind of that guy and like just be like, dude, what was going through your mind for these 3 hours where you decided to lick this doorbell?
It's horrible, man.
It was a strange, and I think that that was on Facebook like crazy. I like every time I pulled up Facebook for like 3 days, that was like the number one thing on my feed. They must know that I sat there and watched it for a half hour.
It's horrible, man. Horrible.
It's like but it's one of those things. It's like hypnotic a little bit. Like that guy watching that guy's tongue just go for 3 hours or a half hour.
I mean, he was.
like, oh man,
he wasn't like licking it slowly. I mean, he
No.
was literally going to town.
He was trying to find the doorbell clit.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Yeah, that was so strange, man. I remember that story. Yeah, that's weird. I have another one,
Okay.
and you probably heard of this one too. But are you aware of a fella or lady named Banksy?
It sounds familiar, but I can't regurgitate a story right now.
So Banksy is like this like really hip street artist that nobody actually knows. I'm sure people actually know, but his big sell is that he's this mystery and nobody actually knows who he is, and he sort of does all these sort of street art things, and they're very good, and he does it on like walls or old buildings or streets or something, and like he does paintings and things as well, but he's a very, very well-known street artist, and part of the allure of Banksy is that nobody knows who he is, and he does all this stuff under the guise of night and everything else. But additionally to street art, he does actual art that you can go purchase and hang in a frame and stuff like
Does
that.
he
And,
sign it Banksy?
he doesn't, no, but there's a very...
Okay, so how do you, if no
if
one
you-
knows who Banksy is, he doesn't sign the real
Yeah.
artwork Banksy, how do you know that?
Because there's a very distinct look to Banksy art. If you looked up Banksy right now and just looked at Google Images and looked at his art, you could start to see a pattern of like what his art looks like. But there's also, I'm sure he's got like PR people that go, yeah, this is Banksy, or yeah, he did this. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, I think there's like identities out there that are probably Banksy. Yeah, but you can tell distinctly, and maybe he does. Maybe there's a little symbol on it or something that says, "Hey, this is Banksy." But you can tell that it's him just by looking at it.
Well, what's the headline? Did you say the headline?
But yeah, no, I didn't say the headline.
Okay.
The headline is Banksy painting self-destructs immediately after being sold for $1.4
Oh
million.
yeah. I did see this one. Yep.
Yeah, so this is another one of those sort of viral videos that showed up on Facebook a lot, but basically, and it's probably Sotheby's or some other, really rich auction house where there's a bunch of rich people. It is Sotheby's. Last October, they're recording this big art auction, and Banksy's painting is one of the big sells of this thing, and it ends up selling for $1.4 million, and everybody cheers and everybody's super happy, and then like this light turns on right above the frame, and it's like a little siren light, and there's a beeping sound or something, and then the photo or the picture, the painting just falls through the frame, and it comes out the other end just completely shredded. So again, this is $1.4 million. Somebody won this, and then immediately as the gavel hits and says sold, the painting starts to self-destruct. It shreds like you would shred, basically like put a piece of paper into a shredder. And the video sort of cuts to like the whole audience is like in disbelief, like they just saw a
What the
dinosaur
fuck just
or something,
happened?
and there's just everybody's like some people are actually smirking like this makes a lot of sense, but which I think is sort of badass reputation. But the video after that cuts to just like a pair of hands, it's basically like Banksy like setting up this frame and like doing the painting and doing the testing of how this would work and everything. And then you see a guy that must have been in the crowd, but all you see is hands through this whole like the last half of the video of people that are doing this. And you see a pair of hands with like a trigger switch or something that once the gavel hits, he hits the button, and then you hear the beeping sound, and then you see the painting shred.
It was painting of like a little girl with a red balloon, right?
Yeah, little girl with a red balloon. Yeah, and that sort of style is very Banksy-esque. But I just thought that was pretty baller. That this guy's so popular. This painting sold for $1.4 million. It's virtually worthless after you do this. And the guy is so awesome and badass that he just doesn't care and just shreds it just because it would be awesome.
I assume he didn't make them pay for it, right?
No, I'm assuming at that point it's just out of the auction and nobody gets it. But I just thought it was pretty awesome.
That would be like horrible if like you were really into that painting, like you like really wanted it or whatever, and it just fucking gets destroyed right in front of your eyes.
Well, it's not like he's a famous artist, but it's not like things come up for sale all the time. It's like buying a Van Gogh or something. Like there's not like 5,000 of them, right? Like if you find one, you're lucky to find one, and at $1.4 million, you're really at a higher echelon of what you're paying for it, and he just fucking shreds it. I thought it's amazing, and if you get a chance to watch the video, it's pretty awesome just to see some of their faces and stuff. It looks like literally they just saw Bigfoot. It's pretty awesome.
I've got a couple other ones that are like relatively short. Like the headline just kind of pretty much tells the whole story, and I think they're pretty funny, so I'll just read them to you, but there's not a lot of stories to them.
I got one too if you got just a couple more. I got one that I think is pretty funny.
All right, so my first one, I'll just give you the headline. I have a couple bits on the story, but this one's from Pennsylvania. WSOC News. Emotional support alligator visits senior home, is just like a dog, owner says.
That's amazing.
So there's this alligator named Wally.
Wally the alligator.
He's a 3-year-old gator, 4.5 feet long, and he basically just acts like a dog. He lays on the couch, lays in the bed. He likes the top of his head rubbed, and he'll close his eyes like a dog does when you pet him.
Yeah, you know the difference between a support dog and a support alligator, though.
One will eat you.
Yeah, one will eat your fucking dick off. And of course, like, have you ever seen? So besides walking and swimming, have you ever seen an alligator do anything other than lay on various things? So, like, to me, the argument of an alligator acting like a dog because it lays in a bed and it lays on the couch, that's what a fucking alligator does. Like, there's nothing, it's not going to fucking roll over. It's not going to, like, stand up on its hind legs and be like, hey, guys, I'm going to go make a sandwich. Like, a fucking alligator swims, it kills, or it sits. And those are the only, so the fact that you're just rubbing its head, it might not even like its head rubbed, and it just shuts its eyes because it's like, I'm trying not to bite this fucking guy's face off. Like, when is this guy going to realize I'm a fucking alligator?
That's true.
Right? Like, there's no support here. I am not a support animal. I am an alligator that's just waiting to pounce on this guy when he sleeps because he thinks I like sleeping in his bed.
Alligators do just sit still for hours. Like,
yeah, it's like it's like the lady that had the monkey, the chimpanzee, which is like the strongest fucking animal in the world, and then she was surprised when it ripped her face off. I can't believe
the chimpanzee.
Yeah, you don't remember
the
that?
Strongest animal in the world.
Well, like, I would say pound for pound, they're probably the strongest animal in the world.
I'm pretty sure.
What else would you?
I'm pretty sure ants are for their strength to size ratio.
Okay, well, there's no story of ants. There's no story of ants ripping a girl's face off. First of all, but like it shouldn't surprise. The next story that you read should be guy dies because emotional pet alligator or support alligator turns on him and is actually an alligator, not a dog.
No, but maybe it's close. Australian wild pig drinks 18 beers, gets in fight with cow.
Yeah, now we're fucking talking, man. Is there a video of that? Because that would be an amazing, amazing video.
No, but there's basically this pig got into a campground and got into some 6-packs, drank 3 of them apparently, and then some people said they saw him being chased by a cow later. I guess he pissed off the cow. He was laying beneath a tree at one point. The author of the article said presumably nursing a hangover. Basically, in the remote regions of Australia, these kind of wild or feral pigs are like pests because of the diseases that they carry. So
Yeah.
pretty nasty little fuckers.
Yeah, I have a friend that lives out in Arizona, and she sent me a picture. They have, I think they're called javelinas or something like that. That they're just like giant, like pigs that act like raccoons. They're just they're all over the place. They're like pigeons, where they're just like out in a field somewhere, like they just walk up to you and they're like really fucking mean, and like they're all over the place. But I imagine Australia to look very similar to that. Like just random pigs, drunk as fuck, just wandering around eating shit and giving you diseases.
Hakuna Matata, motherfucker.
So, how much urine have you put into a microwave before? Let's pretend like you have. I mean, we all know
Zero.
We've all done it.
0 milliliters.
We've all done it. 0 milliliters. All right. Well, we'll just. I guess that's another story to be uncovered at a different date. But so there was a Florida gas station owner that got really super pissed off. The headline is Florida gas station owner accosted by urine in his microwave. So this guy owns a BP, right? You own a gas station. You're finally living the American dream. You own a gas station. And that's my American dream. But he became, quoted, sick and tired of locals using his microwave to warm their urine.
Why the fuck do you need to warm your urine?
Okay, so give me a scenario where you think people would have to warm up urine.
To pass a drug test?
Yes, you are absolutely correct. He opened his BP and his BP gas and convenience store on the way to LabCorp and Quest Diagnostics, which is a drug testing facility. So on the way there, these people weren't customers. They would just come in, warm up their piss, and then walk out and go to this LabCorp or Quest Diagnostics to get their piss tested. And I don't really know what the benefit of warming your piss is. Maybe to make it think. Maybe to make them think like it's brand new. Right?
Yeah, they test the temperature as part of their suite of tests to make sure that it is, body temperature.
That makes sense. And this guy went as far to put a sign on his microwave that says, "Only for food use. Do not warm urine." So that probably stopped him from doing that. That sign is should have made it very clear that they were not allowed to do that. So
I think I would just get rid of the microwave.
Yeah, I mean, you own a convenience store, first of all. Like, chances are you're making some pizza or some wings or something that maybe if you are that hungry on your shift, you can just nibble on one of those things. But instead of urine microwave. But that's just me. Why would we use common sense in that?
Not fake news, second edition. What do you think?
I think these are fun. For me, it's always... And I think I'm getting better at reading the news because a lot of these things we talked about were something like the mommy one or the sarcophagus or esophagus or whatever the hell it's called.
You're getting better at reading the news?
I'm getting better at predicting what I think you're going to talk about.
Okay.
And I think that we still live in a strange world. That hasn't changed since episode 1 of these. And I think there's way more, like we could probably go on for another couple hours with just not fake news and just ridiculous stories.
For sure.
What about you? Do you still feel like we are doomed in this world based off of these news stories?
I mean, we're clearly this mummy juice is going to bring about the end of the world.
I hope.
And I think the not fake news champion is still, if you listen to the first edition, our little 10-year-old boy.
I mean,
he's still the not fake news MVP in my book, but
yeah. I mean, he's not our little 10-year-old boy, just so everybody listening knows that. Please listen to that episode and understand the context around Adam's recently potentially pedophilia comment.
But
he is not our 10-year-old boy. But
I will renew our call for that kid.
Yes.
Please join us. We would love to talk to you.
What bat signal do you need? What bat signal do you need for us to get you on this show and for us to talk to you?
But no, I think I agree with you. The world's still strange, and it's still important to read the news and be able to discern, what's real and what's fake. I'll circle back on a serious note to our cause of the week again, the World Literacy Foundation. Very good cause, so you can check them out, worldliteracyfoundation.org, or you can also support us as well. To support them and other causes of the week that we're helping out through Patreon at patreon.com/STF Talk.
Yeah, I know. I was questioning why we chose that until I realized that we were reading in the news.
Yeah.
So maybe I need some of that donation to go back to thinking school because now it makes a lot more sense that we've done the episode. But awesome cause.
Thanks a lot for listening. Stranger Than Fiction is the brainchild of Chase Ferris, Allison Davila, and me, Adam Davila. We would love to hear from you on one of our social media accounts. You can find us at Stranger Than Fiction Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, or at STF Talk on Twitter, or check out our website, stftalk.com.